Well, hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and it is Friday. And I have to tell you that I've had a very busy week this week, and part of what I wanted to talk about today is what really makes us happy in our homes. And the reason I want to talk about that is because, apparently it helps. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, this is DearMamaSal. I just was busy talking to you without my microphone on, so I had to start again. All right, so today we're going to be talking about what makes you happy in your home. Do you know? And the reason I want to talk a bit about that is because this week we've had two very prominent people in the world. Hi there, Jody. Two very prominent people in the world commit suicide. Two highly successful, two very rich, two people who look like they had everything they could ever want in their lives. Both committed suicide. And I think it is time for us to take a really good look at the small things and find out, what do we need to do to really be happy? Because obviously, as been proven this week, right, money's not going to do it. Fame's not going to do it. Talent is not going to do it. Hi, Charlotte. And so I wanted to start off by experience that I had yesterday. And hi, Fiona. I wanted to explain to you a really interesting process that I went through. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. I don't know about you, but I was really sad to hear that Anthony Bourdain committed suicide. To me, the reason I say that is because one of the things I remember hearing one of the anchors say that every time he came off set, whenever he was busy promoting one of his programs, whenever he went off set, he said, in my next life, I want to come back as Anthony Bourdain. In other words, or everybody around him, he appeared to love what he was doing. He appeared to, we know he did a great job. I mean, he produced some incredible stuff, and the world is a better place because of what he did. However, what I'm beginning to really question now is, what didn't we know about, his life? It was funny because I was saying to somebody yesterday about I don't know, when he started this last series, I remember thinking he's lost an awful lot of weight. And there's part of me that wondered whether he'd gone back to using. And I don't believe that he did. But to me, it was like you could tell he wasn't healthy because he didn't look fit anymore. He looked drawn. Do you know what I mean? He had lost too much weight. And it looked like his body was, yes, Charlotte, or another sickness. What don't we know yet, right? Did he have something that we don't know about? Yeah. Yeah, and that's a very valid point, right? So, did the addictions come back, or did he have something that we didn't know about? And I can't help thinking about Robin Williams, for example. So sad. And yet, outwardly, it really looks so good. So what I wanted to do was to check with you guys exactly what it is in your home, wherever your home is, however big, however small it is, what makes you happy in your home? So, because if we don't know what actually makes us happy, then why would we continue to do what we're doing? Now, Charlotte, and seeing as you're with us here, I know, for example, Yeah, and I was saying about Kate Spade, yeah, that she was the other one this week. So again, another person worth multi-millions, and unhappy. So Charlotte, it was funny because part of what triggered me to this was, the journey that you've been on over the past few years that I've been privileged enough to watch. But the one thing that's consistent with you is the fact that you keep going out and running. And you obviously get great joy from it. And you obviously, you obviously get a lot of oomph from it. And I wanted to ask you, how much of your home revolves around that side of your life? In other words, if I opened up your wardrobe, would I find that, a lot of it is stuff that you run in? Or, and so that's what I would start with is if I didn't know you, which I obviously don't, but if I didn't know you and I opened up your wardrobe, what would I learn about you from looking in your wardrobe? What do you think? Yes, but Triana, we presume that is what motivates Charlotte, but we don't know. Yes, you see, and that's why I didn't want to make that assumption. All right, so here's and this does not surprise me. Charlotte's saying, I come to a point where I have to go outside no matter the weather. Yes, my wardrobe is mostly running clothes and comfy stuff. That's what I wanted to find out. So Triona, if I looked in your wardrobe, what would I find out about you just by looking at your clothes? It's okay. It's a reason why I do what I do. Now, part of the reason that I say that is, hello, Erin. How are you doing, honey? The reason that I say that is because there is the outside of what we show people, but then what really will, is the truth, is what's sitting inside those cupboards. And okay, so Triana's saying she doesn't have runner stuff, but she loves yoga and walking dogs. So a lot of her wardrobe then would be, yoga type stuff. And as you're in Ireland, I would think, I want to call it a wind cheater. That's what we used to call it in England. What's it called here? Parkas and rain gear, so that you can be out with the dogs, probably with hoods, right, Triana? I can't see you as being somebody. I can't see you with somebody walking around with an umbrella for some reason. I see you as a very practical. Let me have both hands available. I'm windbreaker. Okay, that's yeah. They call it a wind cheater in England, so that's why I used it for Triona because she's close to England. Yes, Erin, it will. You know something, Erin? I'm sorry you've had a really tough week, and I am aware of that. But the other thing is what I love about you, as you know, above so many things, is you will always deal with what is rather than what you wish was upon you. So just hang in there. And I really appreciate the fact that you keep us updated. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you come and join in with us because you are an inspiration to so many. Even though you may be struggling, you're still an inspiration to so many. Yeah, Triona. So that's what I see, right? I can see Wellington boots, I think you would call it, whereas they call them rain boots here. And those sort of things. I see you really a very almost, I don't know whether you live in the country, but I could see you, if I think about you, I see you in the country, walking down a beautiful Irish lane, with the dogs running around. And and the interesting thing thing in that is I think that is your freedom, right? Your freedom is actually, if you look at it, as Charlotte said, right, her freedom is getting out of the house. The house becomes almost a prison for her. So she needs to get out. And it's like, what if I look in your closet, what will I find that tells me what you do when you leave home? Now then, for some people, as you can imagine, if I look in their closet, they have all designer clothes and beautiful suits and whatever. So what do I know about these people? They are very different. And by the way, there was a time in my life where I literally had $1,000 and $2,000 suits hanging in my closet. How many of you can imagine that? Every change of season, I went and spent another vast amount of money on a really good suit. So I think that was a time in my life when I was really into different things. Yeah, I know you can see it, Jody. And so if you look in my wardrobe now, let me see how good you are. But tell me something. If you look in my wardrobe, what would you expect to see? And I mean, you guys have known me some of you for a long time. So do you think well, it'd be interesting to see what you think. While you're thinking about that, I thought I'd show you where I did this one this week. Now, I didn't like this, but my realtor loved it. Yes, you definitely would find a bunch of Down Syndrome shirts, including the one I'm wearing today. I don't actually have any business stuff in my closet anymore, Charlotte. None. Now, this is the one I liked. I really like that. So, oh, and you know what I wanted to show you? Hold on one sec. The one that I did recently and I liked so much, I managed to get it varnished. Look at it now. You see the gloss on that? I still don't know which way round I like it. I think probably that way. But it's got a high gloss on it now, 3 coats of high gloss, which I hope you can see. So it looks really beautiful. Huh. So I'm very, very happy with that. Yeah, I love that one too, Jody. It's got, it's like, it's so funny because somebody saw a picture of somebody doing fluid art, and they sent Marnie, actually my friend Marnie, and she sent me and said, "Is this what you're doing?" And I wrote back and said, "On a good day, yes." Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? Anyway, so here's what I wanted to talk to you about. Yes, you're right that today, most of my clothes, if you look at my clothes, most of my clothes are T-shirts and tank tops. In the summer with shorts and capris, and in the winter, it's funny enough, I wear my T-shirts all year long. And yes, I do have a nice collection of Down Syndrome ones. I think I've got about 5 of them, 5 or 6. I think I've got one from every year. And so at least one. So, to me, it's like, I feel really comfortable, very functional. Now, can you also imagine, for those of you who know me well, I've got another whole section, which is not hanging in my closet, which is in cubies of painting clothes that I can go paint in which are covered in paint. Because I assure you, when you're doing this, you are pouring paint off at a great rate. That's part of what makes it happen. And this one, I was just doing that when Yvonne walked in and I came upstairs, and I said, I can't even stop because I am just in the critical point of pouring a canvas. And so what I had to do was, just literally, I had to just carry on because you can't stop in the middle of that. It's like, forget it. All right, so has what is hanging in your closet changed over the last 10 years? That's what I wanted to find out. Erin, have the colors changed? What else has changed in your closet? So what I want you to see is life is constantly evolving. I was thinking about Jody. Jody, I'm pretty sure that the clothes that you wore 20 years ago look very different from the clothes that you need to wear today. Yes, so Charlotte's saying definitely, right? In her case, definitely more yoga pants and more workout gear. Yes. So that's how your life has changed, all right, in the last 10 or 20 years. And so now, the reason I'm telling you this story, you remember I asked you, yeah, the realtor doesn't want me to have those there. So, yes, so Jody's saying that her closet's now mostly comfy clothes and jammies, PJs, right? Because she spent a lot of time. I'm pretty sure that Erin would be the same. I could be wrong, but my sense is Erin's, closet would look much the same. It's loose-fitting stuff that's easy to put on, that's comfortable to wear. She's not going to be constricted in any way. And I want to use the word that freedom about your clothes. All right, now here's what Erin's saying. Since she moved, some of you will remember that she recently, in the last year, moved out of her home and into independent living, or at least group living. And she's saying that, me, a lot of things are going in my closet for bright colors and jeans. But now, since I've moved and can go shopping easier, right? I have skirts and dresses and cute girly things. Now, that is interesting because it reflects who you are today, all right? You didn't get out much when you were at home, but now because you are able to get out more and be in public more, how many of you know that if I, was still into meet and greet, I say meet and greets, I don't mean that, networking or doing those sort of things, my wardrobe would look totally different. I'd be back into the fancy suits and stuff like that. But that's not my life anymore. It's not what makes me happy anymore. Never did, really. So I want you, please, to be aware of what's happening in your closet, because I think you'll find that your closet will tell you a lot of things. Hi, Beth. Your closet will tell you where your changes are coming that you might not even be aware of consciously. Now, a lot of you have mentioned about the color of my clothes. And you will see that I have a sort of range of colors that I am really comfortable in. And I'm not, as you know, I'm not into many bright florals or stuff like that. I'm a very practical, primary color sort of person, right? My clothes predominantly in the winter are reds, black, gray, and tan. And in the summer are shocking pink type colors. I've got a few navy blue type things, and again, black and sometimes red. So, when I look at my closet, I do stripes, not florals. Now, what does that tell you? What does it tell you? You see, I think it's significant that I go for stripes and not, I've got one top that I like that's got flowers on it. No, I think I've got two. Yes, you see, Beth, I think you've been through a very black time of your life, right? And in a lot of ways. So that doesn't surprise me. So I think what you will find, Beth, is as you continue to, eat properly and continue to, which I hope you're still doing, definitely if you can, how are you doing with the non-smoking? I didn't ask. And I don't want to guilt you out on that. I just am interested because you will find that as that side of you changes, so will your clothes. Am I making any sense to anybody here? So, as I was saying about, wow, Beth, that is amazing. You didn't get your badge yet, I presume. That is so cute. Aaron's saying they wake you up to put on my clothes and do my hair. I think that's really cute. Oh, that's so cute, Jody. She said Jody's saying there was a time in her life when 80% of her wardrobe involved leopard prints. You cagey thing. All right, and Charlotte's going, her color scheme is neutral with a punch of primary colors every now. I think, Charlotte, that's who you are. Okay, so Beth wears black and white. I've seen you in black and white, right? But she puts color on in the extremities, right? She nail polish and probably on her toes as well. So that's where she does her individuality. But I think as you continue at the moment, Beth, and as you get out of your present lifestyle, by the way, I think that I was reading about what you were doing, getting rid of things in your life. That was really interesting. Yeah, hot pink's one of my summer colors as well, I must admit. I mostly in my shorts and capris. All right, so now then, here's what I wanted to talk to you about. You remember I said to you, if you could give up one room in your house, which one would it be? And almost everybody said the dining room. So now I'm going to do the opposite of that. And because I want to tell you a story about what happened to me yesterday. If you could only keep 2 rooms in your house, let's say 3. If you could only keep 3 rooms in your house, which ones would it be? And I'm going to take a bit of a tally here. Because when I thought about it, I spend Charlotte, it shows that you're down 2 pant sizes. I was looking, that's what I said to you. You look absolutely stunning. All right, Jody says living room, kitchen, and dining room, right? So living room, kitchen, dining room. Okay. And that's because your bed, because of your illness, your bed is in the living room now. All right. Triona says, hang on a second. Triona says kitchen, bathroom. That's interesting. Bathroom and front room. I'm going to call that living room, if that's okay. Yeah. All right. Hi, Unique. Good to see you. So you're saying bathroom. Okay, so then we've got computer. We'll call it the craft room. Okay. And kitchen. It's interesting. Okay. Now, Erin says living room and bathroom. Beth says living room. I'm going to say computer craft room. And bedroom. Okay. All right. So, and Charlotte says kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom. I want to tell you, when I looked at my life at the moment, I spend most of my time in my bedroom. Isn't that interesting? I would say my three are bedroom, kitchen, and craft room. So let's do that. Let's get that in there: bedroom, kitchen, and craft room. All right. So what our little mini survey shows here is that for all of us, I think, or just about, the majority of us have kitchen as on that list. And then, depending on how your lifestyle is, you either have a living room. It's interesting that so many of you have bathroom. I find that interesting. All right, so Erin's saying that if she had to get rid of a couple of rooms in her home, she'd get rid of the kitchen. Interesting. And dining room because they're not functional. I couldn't get rid of my kitchen. No. Okay, so now then, I guess you all know I'm trying to downsize. And yesterday my realtor came. And the idea was that she came to help me. Yes, you like to cook now. So your kitchen came up on your priority list. Anyway, so what I did was I said to my realtor, I really need to sit down and talk with you because I don't think that helping me clean stuff is really what I need. I need to get my mind straight about what I'm going to do when I leave here. How many of you know I've really got a problem working out what to do next? I think some of you know that. It's like I'm about to go into a completely new phase of my life. And what do I really want to do? And one of the things that I kept saying was I need to be in a community. And the reason I need that, if I don't get social interaction of some sort, and I'm a giver, as you know, I like to make people laugh. I like to do fun things and so forth. So to me, it's really important that I'm in, not that I'm necessarily want to see everybody every day, but I want to be able to wave to people. Does that make sense to anybody? Hi, Carrie. I need to, I keep saying the words, I need somebody to care if I woke up this morning. Right? So now then, when I looked at, and I was saying to my realtor, when I think about it, I spend an awful lot of time in my bedroom. Why? I have one of those really fancy beds that, the back comes up and the feet comes up and makes it really comfortable to use my computer. And because of that, that's why I spend a lot of time in my bedroom. I go there to take my breaks, catch up with the emails and everything else. Hi, Becca. So I like to be able to go in there and, just relax. So the bed is very important to me. The other thing I know is really important is my kitchen. I think you all know that. I have a big kitchen and I'm in and out of that all day long. My bathroom, I go there, it's functional. I don't need a big bathroom. I don't have a big bathroom, funnily enough. But Yes, and Beth is saying, I think you are artistic, and without a special room that you can thrive your artistic needs in, I would not be as happy. Yes, that was my third thing. I need a place that I can mess up totally. Right? Does that, you understand? Because there's part of me that enjoys luxury, but there's part of me that, you know, that loves to be really untidy and things like that. Am I making any sense? So what I'm looking at is, let me not think about what I used to do. Let me think about, since I've been retired, where do I spend my time? Yeah, and that Jody's quite right. Jody's saying, and it's part of my Zen time. This is when I get overstressed, when I get really upset, when I get whatever, I want to move into my art room and go play. Okay, now here's what I was thinking, Triona. You're absolutely right. Triona's asking, could I go to art classes? I'm not an art class person. I taught myself how to do this, right, with the help of YouTube, of course. Right, this I did on, I love to, it's my quiet time. I need a room for it. Absolutely, Triona, you're right. That's what I realized. I've got to have a room where I can get really messy. So now here's what I thought. Don't laugh at me, people. I've been vacillating. Do I get an apartment or do I get a mobile home? And then there's all that problem about I don't own the land underneath it. And then I started to think, if I only had 10 years to live, I'm not saying that I do, but if I only had 10 years to live, hi, Chip, what would I really like to have in my life? And, and it was really funny because I definitely need a community. I know that because if I don't have a community, I will isolate myself. In other words, if I get an apartment, I don't know if any of you understand what I'm saying here. If I get an apartment, I will probably stay in it and end up almost a recluse. I know that. The reason I love my house is because Yvonne and I, Yvonne pops up or we meet in the laundry room or whatever. I always have some sort of interaction with Yvonne or we're texting, but, she's part of my life, right? And when she's got issues, she comes and vents. When I've got issues, I sort them out with her and so forth. So, I realize that's a really important part of my life. And then I had this idea, and please don't laugh at me. I was thinking, what if I bought myself a really luxurious fifth wheel? You know the ones I mean, don't you? With the fireplace and the dishwasher and, top of the line fifth wheel. But here was what I really thought about. What if I buy, do you know what a toy hauler is? Okay. Because a toy hauler is like a garage at the back of your fifth wheel. And I was thinking, a 10, 11, 12-foot garage at the back of my trailer would make an awesome art room because I could chuck paint all over it and probably all winter and then just clean it out once a year. You know what I mean? Get there with a scrubbing brush in the spring and, get the layer of paint off it and, then carry on. Something, for about a couple of months, maybe it gets cold. But when I first got my trailer, I went out every month. I went out every single month with my trailer. So I've spent, as Jody and Lauren will tell you, I've spent sleepless nights looking at top of the line fifth wheels with either a garage in the back of them, or else some of them have got 2 bedrooms. Becca needs a 2x4. I doubt it, Becca. You probably need a hug. But tell me why you think you need a 2x4. Well, Carrie, listen to what I found. Listen to this. I found a couple of the really good toy haulers. I've got like a party deck at the back. So you've got sort of like the garage and then the ramp when you're not using it if you're not using it as a ramp, you can keep it like a separate patio at the back. How many of you can see me sitting there sipping my coffee? And then there's one that's got 2. It's got another little patio, enclosed patio that goes off the living room, with sliding doors. And I'm going, how many of you can see me going, should I have my coffee on the back deck or shall I do the living room deck today? And I understand that I live in British Columbia and that a lot of the time I'm not going to be able to do that. Well, Becca, do that. But I'm not going to. What I'm saying to you is go have the chat. You don't have to take them. What I would suggest you do, Becca, is go have the discussion, and he or she can ask you a series of questions that will establish whether and at what level your need is. All right, whether it's something that they can recommend that you do to increase your endorphins, and stuff like that, or whether you are now chemically, whether you've been in this depression for so long that your chemical imbalance has happened. Yeah, and so here's what I was thinking. Can any of you see me out on my deck? And Trian, I'm going to answer the question about where would I park it. Can any of you see me out on one of my decks in 6 months of the year, playing with my jewelry or doing the finishing touches to my art? And how many of you have seen those really upmarket trailers and wanted to get inside one? And I was thinking, if I did that and actually stayed at a campground, a good one, you know what I mean? One that's built for people, they got good washroom facilities and a laundry if you really wanted it, because I probably will have my own anyway. But I'm looking at an upmarket way of doing this rather. I'm not talking about boondocking or anything. That's not what I'm thinking of at all. And then I would be cutting my space down by 2/3. Right? Do you have any idea how much one of those things would cost? I just want to know if we all understand what the price tag is. This something like that. I wouldn't get a bus type diesel pusher because you're paying a lot of money for the engine and stuff, if you like. And I find that the fifth wheels are more exciting to me, with lots of slides that go out and all sorts of things. So do you want to have a guess at roughly how much it costs to get a really upmarket, top of the line type fifth wheel, or even they make top of the line Yeah, Jody's guessing at about 350,000. That is twice as much and more actually, nearly. It's not anything like that. Yeah, Triona, and Triona, I think I'd be running art classes too for the children, right? How many of you can see me doing that? And the parents would love to pay me to do that. Okay, so Unique is saying that they could cost between 12 and 80,000. Yes, I would say, depending on which one you get, you're talking, if it's this year's model, which I wouldn't get, you're talking about this year's model, we're talking anywhere from 70 to 100,000. Yeah, Aaron's saying 72 to 90,000. So we're in that range, all right? Depending on how many bells and whistles you've got. Now, that includes Korean countertops. That includes all sorts of upgrades, really, leather type seats and, big recliners and all sorts of stuff. I have literally spent hours and hours checking them out. And it's like I would be downsizing by 2/3. But how many of you can see my point that maybe at this age, I don't need 2/3 of the size of this house? When I really look at what I do. Now, how many of you can see me, baking bread for the neighbors that just, arrived, whatever, And so to me, it's like, what do I love to do? Why did I so enjoy camping all those years? And why haven't I gone out and done it again? Then here's the other thing I thought about. Now listen to this one. I could free up a lot of play money. Thank you, Triona. Where will I park it? I would go, first of all, I would find the one I want, which could take me some months. So I'm going to find the one I want, and then I'm going to have it delivered to my house. Now, my realtor asked me a really interesting question yesterday. And she said, how will you know what you really use? Listen to my answer. I looked at her and I laughed and I said, it's still upstairs. How many of you know that the only things that have gone down into my garage, the only things sitting in here are things that I can live without? If you think about it, that's why I've packed them up. It's not my everyday stuff that's sitting in these boxes. Does that make sense? How do I know that? They're in boxes. I haven't opened the boxes. So what's sitting in here is fancy stuff. What's sitting in here is 64 vases. What's sitting in here, do you get what I'm saying? I wouldn't have packed it up if I really needed it. What's still in my kitchen is the stuff that I want to use every day, every week. Not necessarily every day, but every week. That's what's still sitting in my kitchen. What's still sitting in my bedroom? A lot of storage stuff. Yeah. So now here's what I said. See if you like this for an idea. What I said was, what if I get them to bring the fancy luxury fifth wheel to my home? And then I fill it up. Because you can only put so much weight into a fifth wheel. I fill it up with the things I really want with me. And as all of you know, that would include my artwork stuff, my craft stuff, and my kitchen stuff, and a few clothes. Casual clothes, camping type clothes, and maybe one or two nice things, but that would be it. And here was my thinking. When I finished filling up the RV, intellectually, emotionally, everything, I can then know that everything that isn't in the RV isn't that important to me. Am I making any sense here? But I then want to take what is left in my house, the majority of it, even though it's packed, it's already packed up, and put it in storage for a year. The couches, the dining room table, all that sort of stuff, and put it in storage for a year. If at the end of a year, I am loving my fifth wheel, do you understand? I can let go of everything that's in the storage because I haven't used it in a year. Yeah. Now, I think it's possible, right, that every now and then I might think, oh, garbage, my so-and-so is in storage now. If I want it badly enough, I don't know about you, I'd probably go and buy a new one rather than go and try and search for it in the storage. But, that's just my mentality. So in a way, I thought, boy, this would be a really clever thing. Now then, how many of you are going, but you're going to need a truck to haul it, Sal? And I'm talking about a seriously big one. You know what I mean? I'm thinking anywhere from 30 to 40 feet here. like the film stars have. So, but I probably won't quite go that far, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about a 26-foot trailer here. I'm talking about at least a 30-foot trailer. I know you do. Plus, think about this tree owner. How many people will I meet every week? You know me. How many interesting people will I meet? Now, think about this. I started to think about, well, I'd have to get rid of the Jeep and then buy a tow vehicle. They call it a TV for that reason, a tow vehicle, a TV, not a TV screen, but a TV tow vehicle. So you're now in your trailer. Which one did you get is what I was trying to find out from you, Patricia. Because what I realize is I need a trailer that has 1.5 baths. That's the size I need. I've now found out through lots of research that if it's got 1.5 baths in it, it's going to have a bunk room or it's going to have a garage, either of which I can turn into an art studio. Patricia, I'm so proud of you. Pat, I want to tell you, no, Beth, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move out of here and buy a luxury fifth wheel or travel trailer rather than go and buy an apartment. Because it then, right, so it'll cost me about $100,000. Plus, it's going to cost me pad rent wherever I put the trailer. But am I going to be spending money on lawnmowers and stuff like that? No. Guess why? Am I spending extra money on rates and taxes and hydro? No, because 9 times out of 10, that's all included. Oh, yes, and you've got a bunk room and even a fireplace. I'm looking at ones that have even got a dishwasher and a washer dryer in them. How will I get the internet? Beth, great question. Yes, I've done that research too. This is why I haven't had any sleep this week. Look at the bags under my eyes. This is why. Have you heard about MiFi? One of the things when I look at, you're so cute. I won't be going anywhere. When I looked at the list of what's important in my life, you'll be pleased to know you guys were part of it. Yes, most parks have Wi-Fi, but depending on where it is or whatever, it can be spotty. Now, it's the same, it's a bit like a hotel Wi-Fi system, right? At a hotel, you've got Wi-Fi, but it's not the fastest in the world. So what did I learn in hotels? Whenever I'm on tour or whatever with Benji and Judy and the girls and whatever, what I found is I upload early in the morning when the majority of people are asleep. I want to tell you, Erin, you should see how many hours I've spent researching. So that's really where you need the internet is for the upload. You don't need it to create or do whatever. So but you can get Wi-Fi. I can have my own private hotspot. In other words, I've got a satellite link myself. Does that make sense? By the way, you do know that your phone. Well, of course, I've done live. Guys, how many of you watched me do live broadcasts when Big Brother Jeff was here? You know, he and I did a joint one, right? From the trailer. Do you remember that? Oh, yes, absolutely. That's very important to me, Beth, you know, that I can do that. Because I know you're going to want to meet people. And how many of you are going to want to, you know, enjoy the experience of where, you know, what I like about this place. By the way, about the tow vehicle, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I went, wait a minute, I've got to cost in here the cost of a tow vehicle. That could be another 60 to 80,000, right, to get a good tow vehicle. If I've got a really heavy duty luxury trailer, fifth wheel. And then I went, wait a minute, listen to this. How often do you think I will be moving the trailer? I don't think I'll be doing that very often, quite honestly. So here's what I was thinking. What if I don't get a tow vehicle for that first year? Why don't I just find out if I like the lifestyle on a 24/7, 365 days a year situation? And, you know, I was thinking about what Charlotte was saying. Every now and then, you know, she has to get out of the house. I'm going, see, if I got a dog again, who could play on the decks, the drop-down decks that I have, you know, if I get a dog again, then that would get me out of the trailer a lot. At least 2 or 3 times a day, I'm going to be out walking the dog. So I thought, what if I don't get a tow vehicle for that first year while I find out whether I can do it? And what I will do is I will have them deliver the fifth wheel here. In answer to your question, what would I do with my trailer? I'd basically give it away to somebody who needs it. Yeah, I'd probably get a couple of thousand for it. I might even, no, I was going to say I might even throw in the Jeep, but I would probably, I could even do that and downsize to a really small little car for that year. Yes, Triana, I want to tell you. Yes, now a good idea to tidy while you listen to this. All right, so what I'm thinking is if I got a little car, if necessary, you know, it's nice to be running around in for a year. And then I probably would keep the Jeep, quite honestly, because there's no reason not to. But the thing is, at the end of the year, I'm going to know, okay, did I keep wanting to leave the campsite and go somewhere else? In which case, I need a tow vehicle. And I'm going to have to put really big girl pants on because I'm going to need to know how to hook up and drive one of those things. But in the meantime, if I want to spend a couple of months in the States for the summer, for example, or whatever, or the winter, I will just phone one of these towing companies and say, how much to take my rig down to snowbird country? You know, could it cost me $1,000? Yep. How much will a tow vehicle cost me? So what I'm looking at, for the number of times I probably want to move the trailer, it might be cheaper not to have the fancy tow vehicle, you know, the $80,000 truck. that is capable of pulling an 8-foot wide with slides. It's more. You see, so that's what I've been looking at. How many of you can see what I'm getting at here? The point that I was making is one thing I know is almost any time I have had a big rig, that's what they call it, right? Anytime I've had, hi, Savannah, good to see you. Anytime I've had a big rig parked next to me, I've gone, I really want to see inside that thing. How many of you have seen those things and gone, I'd love to see what they look like inside? Yeah, you can see my Down Simba shirt. Could I still do Down Simba? Can I do Down Simba from a luxury fifth wheel? You bet. Well, if I'm not down in Seattle doing it from there, but you understand this is like, I would think of the cost downsizing. No rates and taxes. I'm paying for my hydro and hydro is electricity here in Canada. We're paying for my electricity probably in the winter. And water comes in. Now I'd have to think about how to insulate the water line for the winter. But I'm thinking swim noodles would do that. What do you think? And when I thought about why do I spend so much time in my bedroom, it's because of my computer. That's where I'm comfortable using my computer. But what if I had a luxury fifth wheel and I could be really comfortable using my computer in the living room? Or my, on my Korean countertops. I thought pool noodles would do really well, Jody. I don't know why. The MacGyver part of me is going, what would I do with the lines? And I'm going, surely, a series of pool noodles would keep that insulated. That's what they are. And the other thing, Jody, is if I'm in a big rig country, you know what I mean? If I'm along with other big rigs, I've got to take 10 steps to the first big rig that looks like it's been around for more than 6 months and go, what do you do? First of all, those big rigs are all insulated properly, and I'm going, well, what would you do to insulate your rig? Now, I might need to buy an apron to go all the way around it so the cold air doesn't get underneath the trailer and try and move up. That's one thing that I know people that are staying full time inclined to buy a skirt for their trip. Now, Pat, this is your first, the test run of your trailer. What are you loving about it already? How many of you are on the trip? How many human beings are in that trailer with you? It's Pat and Bill and how many of the kids? You love the space, but you got a travel trailer, not a fifth wheel, right? Yes, I'm amazed. You see, I know that downsizing by 2/3 is going to take a lot of adjusting, but here's what I know. Anytime I pulled my trailer out and went to live in my trailer for a couple of weeks, I had readjusted to the size within minutes. You just learn to do things in a different way, right, Pat? Plus, how much time are you spending outside already, Pat, in the fresh air? Yes, and Erin, now there's a downside. There's a downside to this. You do understand if anything goes wrong with the trailer and it has to go to be fixed, you lose your home. You know what I mean? It's like they don't just take your trailer, they take your life. Yes, Pat, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to find one with a bunkhouse that I can convert into a craft and art studio. I also thought that I could actually do my crafts in the main body of the fifth wheel, because crafts are not nearly as messy as paint is. But if I had a garage, Pat, imagine if you could open the doors and you're into, one of those steel-lined garages. I could huck paint in there and not worry about it. Plus, it's got a second bathroom, most of them. They call it a bath and a half. So normally, if you've got a garage at the back, you've got an extra washroom, very useful. Plus, you've got an extra sink. And in some of them, you've even got an extra shower, which means I could use that for rinsing out it become my art room type bathroom. That doesn't mean it will be covered in paint. It just means if I really needed to, that's I don't have to walk into the luxury to go wash my art, paint covered hands. I can do it in the. How many of you are getting this picture? But, my point of view is people, when they see one of those big rigs, I've seen it happen time and time again, and it's happened to me. People just go, wow. And how many of you know that I'm the sort of person that will see that body language and go, you want to have a look? How many of you can see me doing tours of my fifth wheel? But what will be inside my fifth wheel? Yes, I've seen that. You can get them with full-size French fridges, with dishwashers, with washer dryer. Yeah, the DearMamaSal tour. And what if I actually have on the side, the DearMamaSal traveling art show? I would have, I'd have a full-time audience. You know what I mean? I could be hanging these off the side of my rig, on magnetic. So I wouldn't have to go to look for places to sell them. I just put magnets on the back and attach them to my big rig. Not all the time because they get stolen. But when I'm sitting outside under, one of the awnings, because those extra decks have awnings over them as well, I could be doing the pendants and stuff. How many of you can see me, having a little table with the pendants there so people can see them, And I can take my die cutter with me, Pat. There's plenty of room for a die cutter in one of those things. How many feet have you got, Pat? Not you personally, but your rig. I want to tell you something. Which one did you get? Did you answer that one? I know I could live in a fifth wheel. Hang on, I'm just going back to see if I missed it if you answered it. Okay, just tell me again. I'm sorry to ask a second time. A 38-footer. That's what I'm thinking. Somewhere between 30 and 40 feet. And so now, get excited, peeps. You know why? On Tuesday, my realtor and I are going to cross the line, go down into the States. And she's got to do something in the States. And then we're going to go fifth wheel toy hauler shopping. Not actually, we're going to kick some tires. How many of you want me to do that? So, you see, here's what I was thinking. And I know some of you will understand this. I could paint all winter and sell the paintings all summer, right? I mean, basically, I'm going to have two seasons. One where I'm totally just about, what's a toy hauler? It's like 3/4 of it is travel trailer, Becca, and the back end is that diamond steel stuff that you can put, it has a ramp and you can drive your ATV onto it, or you can drive, your motorbikes into it. It has like a garage in the trailer. Now, Pat, I've even seen them where you've got a garage, a bunk room, and something else. They're huge. Okay. Becca, let me tell you where, if you want to have a look at some, and I'm talking the high-end ones, Becca, just literally type in bath and a half trailer, because that will show you fifth wheels, toy haulers, whatever. But have a look at some of the toy haulers and imagine. Oh, by the way, most of those garages have drop-down extra seating and drop-down from the ceiling, like a drop-down bed as well. And the extra seating turns into another bed. So, but I wouldn't use it as a spare room. What I would do is, if I had a visitor that stayed over, very unlikely too often, I would actually have them on, the pull-out couch in the luxury living room. All right? And it's a bath and a half. So listen, just to use the washroom, use the one in the, yes, they've got an outdoor kitchen. And a lot of them have got an outdoor kitchen with a television. Not that I would need that, but, it's like today, some of these units, and this is a mobile home, all right? Unlike getting a mobile home, which basically is going to stay put. If I don't like the neighbors, or I want to go south for a couple of months, yes, and there's an extra fridge in the outside section. So when you're cooking outside, you don't have to keep running up and down. You can just keep extra stuff in the fridge that's outside. Well, exactly. So what I want you to do, is just have a look. So now what I want you to do is think about this practically. So it would cost $100,000, give or take, right, for the rig. Now, I'm not saying that it won't cost me a lot less than that. If I buy a 2-year-old one, it could only cost me $50,000. How many of you going, that works? So what I want to see is not necessarily is it brand new, but does it suit my lifestyle, right? The way I want to live. Yes, Pat's also saying that a lot of those rigs have a separate door, so you could literally have a separate entrance for the artwork, right? It has a separate door into the garage. You can have your deck out the end, but you still got to, they don't have to trick through your personal space to get into the garage. Yes, and exactly. So you don't have wet and dirty things going straight into your home. You've got room for them to get rid of their, like a giant mud room is a good idea. Very good idea. Anyway, so that's what I'm thinking. And I won't really know until I go look, see, I've had a look at a lot. All right, for those of you who want to know which ones did I like, let me tell you that there are a couple that I really like. So I'm sure that some of you will want to know which ones tweaked my fancy. I think I made a note for you guys. Okay, I really liked one called, okay, now I haven't, this is a slightly older one, but it has a garage, a den, and a loft. It's like, seriously? I can't remember if it's got two patios on it or not, but that one I really liked. But it's I don't think it's going to be easier because I think it's an older one. But I think the one that I keep going back to is something called a momentum. And oh yeah, the seismic. Seismic by Jaco. Okay, if you quickly just type in seismic by Jaco and have a look at a couple of the pictures, you'll get the idea of what I'm looking at. Yeah, no. So what would I be buying? For 100,000, I'd be buying some serious luxury, but I'd be losing a lot of my personal space between me and the neighbors. And in the summer, it would buy me a lot of sociable time. And in the winter, I don't think it'd be a huge issue, but I probably would get a dog so that I had reason to get out of the trailer. Okay, is everybody looking now? Did I spell that right? Yes, Pat, that's what I want. I want a winterized one. Now, Pat, is Bill within earshot? Okay. Could you ask Bill, how do they winterize the line from the faucet through to the rig? Because I'm wondering if you put, if you took a pool noodle and sliced, one part of it, could you insulate it with pool noodles? Or how is he planning to do that? Because obviously getting water into the rig is rather important. And a hose pipe will freeze. Well, I can give you a hug, but I can't give you a nap. Now, the other thing that you guys need to understand is in these big luxury things, they've got a whole storage unit underneath it. Right? So you actually don't have to, I could be carrying all my extra supplies, my extra frames for my artwork, my extra paints, my extra whatever. I can be carrying those, in the underneath of the trailer and only access them, which by the way is also heated, winterized, so that it wouldn't ruin. Yes, Pat. No, Pat. Okay, let me reword this for Pat. So Pat, what I'm interested in, give me a second. I'm interested in how do you winterize it between the rig and the faucet, because that's rather important in winter. Oh. I'm saying here that I believe some of them have got heating strips on, they have a special hose that has a heating strip along it so that it doesn't freeze. But as I said, that's what the first year is about, right? And I'm going to be learning a lot from the people who've done it a lot. I'm a happy camper, right? I've camped a lot and I enjoy it. I I find that I read a lot when I'm camping, which is something it slows me down in a lot of ways. And yet in other ways, it speeds me up. But my question is, could I do it 24/7, 365? And there's only one way to find out. Yeah, thanks, Pat. Yep, I agree. All right, she's saying heat tracing. Yeah, it's when you, okay. So it's, what you're saying, you need heat tracing, which is literally special stuff that's wrapped around the hose that heats up just a little bit. It just is enough to, you have it, for those who live in New Hampshire, which some of you do, all right, a lot of the cabins have that underneath, all right, which is their water lines go underneath the cabin, but they have that. Now, I will always be dear mama self, whatever I'm up to. Now, how many of you also know that if I find it's a problem in the winter, I will know that pretty soon. I could dry camp if necessary. I've done that. I did it. I was in minus 12 with my trailer in Whistler. But what I would know for a second year is to get out of Dodge for the winter. All right, probably in October or November, take the rig down into the States and to Nevada or something and find something warmer. Field trip, giant field trip. But what I'm going to do when I'm doing the thing on Tuesday is I'm going to start asking the guys who sell these things, how much does it cost in the States to move the trailer, every 100 miles? All right, that's what I need to know. Roughly how much does it cost per 100 miles to move your trailer? So if you are planning to move it, 1,000 miles, I know that's how much it would cost to have somebody else deliver it. By the way, do you think they will hook it up faster? Do you think they will deliver it faster? And do you think that they will park it in the right place faster than I can? I think so. And my only stress is getting me there, not the trailer. Because all I will do is I will follow it. Now, if I'm really smart, when I get frustrated with that, what I will do is I'm going to buy somebody to sit with me, and I say buy somebody, but I might even do it in a campground situation, which is okay. I need somebody to teach me how to do this. I know how to back up a trailer, so I'm halfway there. But I'm only used to backing up 26 feet. I'm not used to backing up close to 40 feet. And if you want to know how big 40 feet is, it's about the width of my house. That's a whole different story. So now the alternative is I could spend 4 times as much money, still end up paying, because I live in a very expensive part of the world, I could end up spending 4 times as much money, still paying strata fees, still paying rates and taxes, still paying high electricity and water and garbage and sewage and all that sort of stuff. All right. So to me, this is like, it could end up saving me a lot of money, or it could end up costing me a lot of money. I think if you don't move it very much, if you only move it once or twice a year, I think it actually pays not to buy the truck and have somebody move it for you. For me, at 70, right? So what do you guys think? What have I forgotten? Of course, I should never have told you what to look up, because now you'll be as bad as I am. How many of you went to go and have a look at the fusion? Well, I don't know, Jody, but it's like the first idea where I'm really happy, because I don't own the land on which the trailer sits. But here's the thing: I can more easily move a travel trailer or a fifth wheel than I can a mobile home. And then I thought about it, which is, right, I think the trend is going to be more and more people are going to do this. I think more and more people, at my age, will retire and downsize into a really nice travel trailer rather than go buy another house. Because I just know what it costs to live in a travel trailer is going to be very different from what it's going to cost to maintain another apartment. And I don't want to live in an apartment. I think in an apartment, I would go stir crazy. And, I would actually, and I want to go back to how we started this discussion, which was about, you have to know yourself. I know that I have a tendency for depression, or, that's in my background. So I have a very easy for me to go back there, unless I'm very careful. So I've got to put things into my life that keep me interacting with people. Now you can say, but you can meet the neighbors in your, whatever. It's not the same. One of the things, I've watched a lot of videos about people who are doing it full time. You know what almost every one of them says? Campers are very happy people. Number one, that's what almost everybody says. You're always meeting happy people. The other thing is, campers are very helpful people. So, and I found that when I was camping as well. So people, if you hit a problem, people come and help you because they've had problems and people came and helped them. Now, let me tell you about the very first time. I know you guys like stories about my life. So this I want you to imagine. The very first camper I bought was a Class C. That's one of those ones where it has the overhang over the driver. A really beat up piece of rust, about a 20-foot Class C. And everything was wrong with it. But it didn't matter, right? I was so happy in this thing. And anyway, but the story I want to tell you is, I go to my first campground and I go to reverse into the site. I didn't know about, move the picnic table, did I? Get out first, move the picnic table. No, I didn't know that. So I am busy trying to reverse this truck into this campsite and not hit the picnic table on the one side and not take out the water and electricity hookups on the other side. And it was so funny because across the dirt path, there was a huge campsite with about 3 trailers on it. Obviously, 3 different families all together with their big fancy trailers, right? And they saw what I was doing, and I want you to imagine this. They all took their deck chairs and their fancy chairs and turned them around, and people were handing out beers, right? And they all just sat back going, "Oh, this should be interesting." Right? And they watched me for quite a while before somebody took pity on me. And one of the guys just couldn't bear watching me struggle anymore. And he came and he went rat-tat-tat on my window and went, "I'm going to move the picnic table for you. You haven't done this before, have you?" And I said, "No, my first time." And he said, "Number 1, move the picnic table before you try to reverse it." I go, "Okay." So he said, but I'll go and do it for you. It was insane. So, by the way, when I eventually got it parked, now I want you all to imagine me, because I think you can probably see me doing this. When I got it parked and hooked up and everything else, I literally walked across the dirt path to where the big rigs were and where I knew these people were. And I said, I just want to charge entertainment tax. And the guy said, what? I said, I know this has been very entertaining for you, and you've probably been almost crying with laughter. I said, but I need one of those beers now. It's my entertainment tax. And they happily cracked me one, and I said, thank you. And I'm certain you can all see me stomping over there, charming with a big smile and going, okay, guys, entertainment tax time. I'm charging you entertainment tax. And I can always remember on that first trip, there was a family parked behind me. You can't help but hear some of the conversation. And they were saying, oh, it was the last day, second to last day. And it was that night. And I heard the wife say, well, we're sort of out of a lot of stuff. So do you think we should run to the store and go and get stuff? And the husband saying, no, don't bother. We'll pick up stuff on the road. Okay. Now the mother and father and a couple of kids. So I heard that. So I popped back into my trailer and I mix me up some muffin mix. And I bake big muffins in my beat up piece of junk trailer. And I took them over and went, there you go. And they went, you bake muffins for us? And I said, yep. Because they were in a tent type thing and didn't have the equipment that I had. How many of you can see me doing that? Happily. Baking fresh bread for people or whatever. So what I started the story with was have a look at your closet, see who you really are. Because I think that is the trick. If you look at your closet and if you didn't know you, open up, which a lot of people are going to do, by the way, when they come to have a look at my house, they're going to open up my closet. And how many of them are going to stand there and go, she doesn't go out much? Right? Which is true. And how will they know that? Because I don't have my dress-up clothes in my closet anymore. You know what I mean? It's like there's so few of them, I've got them somewhere else. If I really have to dig them out, I will spray some Febreze over them and wear them. But I really don't have that many dress-up clothes anymore. Most of my clothes are T-shirts and tank tops. And in the winter, T-shirts and cardigans. So I know my lifestyle has totally changed. So why don't I move towards it, embrace it, and do it in style? And have lots of things to tell you about. You'll never guess who just parked next to me. And I'm glad they were only staying for 2 days. You know you're going to get those sort of videos from me, right? And I think some of you will have heard the story that I was in a big rig type campground once when it was starting up. And the other thing that I know about me is I help people, right? That's what I do. And I could see the manager of this campground literally going from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night and longer. And I watched her for about a weekend, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on Monday, I actually, she came around to make sure everything was okay. And I said, hey, can I have a word with you? And she said, sure, what? And I said, how long would it take you to teach me how to use your computer booking system? She said, what? I said, well, I'm watching you and you are totally overrun. So what if I could learn how to take the bookings for you maybe sit in the office for a few hours. I'm pretty computer savvy. I could sit in the office and handle that side of it for you while you do the other things. Oh, Chip, absolutely. I would vlog this. Yes. By the way, I've got a really good trick. I've got a really good trick. Like when you're trying to do show houses, you want all your garbage bins to be empty, right? So it looks clean and neat and tidy. I found a great trick because I did it for where my realtor was coming. I've got one garbage bag with the rubbish in it, and I put another one on top of it. So when I put the garbage in, I just throw it in and put, so it always looks like you've got clean garbage cans. I got a gold star, by the way, for what I've done. The only thing, I've got some white units here, and I've got, this is quite a bit challenging. Wait. I'm stuck. Hard drive, okay. I've also got units. See, I've got two units there either side of the fireplace. By the way, look how nice and clean and tidy it is. I can't believe it. Except for I've just got. Isn't it nice and clean? I'm just about to lay the table, which is what we will be doing. So I know what I need to not pack from this set of mine. But she actually gave me a gold star. She said, I have done such a great job. And there were very few things that she said to do. But she said, take those units out and put them downstairs because the room already is huge. You take those units out, it will look twice as big. She had little to nothing to say about my bedroom that I didn't already know. She just said it was amazing what I'd managed to achieve in there. I had taken the rugs out of my kitchen, and I just hung them over my patio railings while she was here. But she said, "No, you can leave those in. It's okay. They're both small, and they actually blend with the carpet underneath your dining room table and the one in your bedroom. So it actually is nice continuity. You can because they all match. So I'm learning a lot of things." Chip. Now, Chip, what I wanted everybody to understand, why am I thinking of doing it this way? And there's a really good reason, and perhaps I should explain that. How many of you know I'm very attached to my house and I love it? I've loved it for 20 years. It is a beautiful environment to live in. It's light, it's airy, and I've spent a fortune, putting crown molding everywhere. I painted most of it, and in fact, I've painted it nearly, I think everything except these two walls, this color. I've painted everything else in the house. And so, plus I did, 1-inch tiling, like spar type stuff in my bathroom. I did it myself. I did it in my shower. I did all of that. I didn't bring somebody else. I was down on my hands and knees doing the floor myself, everything. So I've got a lot of time and money invested. A lot of time and money is in here. And how many of you know it's going to break my heart to have people walk through it and judge it, which they will. So what I thought was, this is my plan. Get the fifth wheel delivered here, load up what I need, my essentials, into the fifth wheel, hand my keys to my realtor and say, contact me when you got a bid you think I should look at. And we can do it electronically. And I don't have to be stressed out with viewings and people making a mess of my house, or people stealing things out of my house, or whatever. Basically, I will have left. How many of you can see the logic in that? I don't want to be here, Triona. I don't want that stress. I am going to get everything packed into a fifth wheel and get the heck out of Dodge and go get myself set up somewhere and start my new life. And I just hand over my keys to my realtor. In fact, she'll have a lockbox, I'm sure. And so she will know that before she shows it, she just needs to come around and quickly get rid of the dust. Now, I do want to tell you, remember I said to you that I've got a mixture of vanilla, cinnamon, on a mug warmer. I've got a little jar with cinnamon sticks and vanilla in it, and allspice I put in. She said to me, this house smells amazing. Now, how many of you use vinegar and water to clean your house rather than all the fancy products? Because what I realized was I could take a little bit of that vanilla, cinnamon, allspice water and put it in with my vinegar, and you don't get the smell of vinegar in the house. Works really well. You get the smell of cinnamon and vanilla wherever you clean. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, Chip, this is what I'm saying. You've got to know yourself. I know I will stress out completely if I've got to keep this house tidy. Right? If I've got to keep this house immaculately tidy all the time, because they might be showing it 3 times a week, and each time I've got to move out into the trailer while they judge my house and maybe buy it, I would rather be sitting somewhere else in my fancy fifth wheel. So that's what my plan is. So what have I forgotten? Can anybody think of anything? Have I not thought this through properly? I did say, where is Amazon going to deliver my stuff to? Haven't quite got that one worked out. But I think if I go to a place where they have full-time people, I'm pretty sure that they have deliveries to them. Or I have them deliver to a friend and pick them up from a friend. I don't know. I'm still working on that one. Anybody got any bright ideas? No, Amazon will not deliver to a post office box, obviously. I get big boxes from Amazon. They're not going to deliver that into my little post office box. But you're saying to my local postal outlet, possibly, or UPS. I'm sure UPS does that all the time. They hold the boxes. Okay, so see, that's where I've got to do a bit more research. So what else have I not thought of? Now, I got it, Trip, don't worry. I read through typos. I've seen more than my fair share over the last 5 years. Parcel motel. Okay, so that's what we're saying, that there is a way of doing. You see, imagine how many things I'm going to learn. How many of you know I love to learn stuff? Did anybody check the fusion that I said? Really like that one. So I'm looking at the upside of it, and I'm trying to make sure I've got a healthy understanding of the downside of it. So if any of you can think of any more downsides that I haven't discussed, let me know, so that I can try and work out whether I've thought of it or thought it through or not. Very exciting. And, it would force me to downsize by another 2/3 probably. And I think I could do it now. I'm sort of pretty well trained. And the easiest way is literally walk it out of the house and put it into the trailer. Yeah, you could end up with bad neighbors. I agree. Which case, time to move on. Or time to move the site to another site. Okay, Pat, have fun. Say hi to Bill for me. Yeah, I want to tell you something, Jody. I really have spent a lot of time, as you know, but it's just like, what do I like? What don't I like? What amazes me, and I don't know if this makes sense to any of you who might spend some time looking at them as well. What amazes me is how many of them appear to be dark wood, dark furnishings, whatever. And so I'm almost tempted. I've even thought about this. What if I build my own? I don't mean literally build my own, but what if I go and design my own trailer and go, okay, this is what I need in a trailer. Now, I did see a couple, and I've just got to look at that again. I saw a couple that have 2 completely different bedrooms, one at each end. Yeah, I don't like the dark wood either. So this is what I would do. If I found a design that I liked, but had nothing but dark wood, I would have to decide, do I want to buy it and paint over all this beautiful wood? Or do I want to buy an older one and just redo the whole thing? You know what I mean? Just spend the winter repainting it and, planning renovations to it or whatever. So I am sure they make RV dust, what do you call it? Covers for couches and stuff these days. But the dark stuff I think would be depressive for me. I have seen a couple where the furniture is actually cream or white, a cream normally, or light beige I would handle quite well. So, am I insane? My Lordy. Okay. So I do think that after a year, I would know whether I need to get myself into a one bedroom apartment and just bite the bullet for the rest of my life, or I just think that an RV has more light in it because if I'd have to have a corner unit to get the light that I want, and I need a balcony because I need to get outside. Yeah, very difficult. However, what I do need to do is to put away the money that I would need to buy that a year later or 6 months later if I'm already going stir crazy. Don't know what else I've forgotten. Yeah, I think the outdoor living, I think I'd be outside a lot more than I am at the moment. I really do. I really see myself, sitting outside, walking the dog, doing whatever. A lot more than I would if I bought an apartment. I think it would be healthier. How many of you can see the health benefits of that? Now, how many of you have watched when I've done the Christmas lights tour? There was one RV park that had the most incredible Christmas lights. And that's the one I'm going to go and have a look at. Maybe even tomorrow. I'm going to go pop down there and go, okay, I'm thinking about selling my house soon. I'm thinking about picking up a fifth wheel and I want to bring it. Do you have a place? But I'd like to stay semi-permanently. So therefore, if you only allow month to month, and I'm not allowed to stay more than 6 months, then I need to know that right now, because then I will, cut you off the list. Because some people won't let you do that. You're only allowed to stay for a month or something. So I've got to really go down and find out. And I want them to see who I am. All right. Beam the smile, Jody. Couldn't you just squeeze me in over here? And some of them, they've got actually some really nice sites for the full-time people, because they want to. I think more and more people are going to do it, quite honestly. I really do. And it will be a lifestyle choice. Does that make sense to people? I'm thinking about a lifestyle change rather than a money change. I have enough money to be able to get myself, a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. I've got enough equity here to do that. But then I'd be, in a different place financially month to month. Whereas if I only spend a third of that by the rig, I've got more disposable income. So I can play more. Run the website without worrying. But it would be smart, and I'm certain you all agree with me, it would be smart for me to tie up some of that money into long-term investments, so I know that, and every year just release that sort of money I need for the pad rents and stuff like that, so that I'm not spending it on Amazon, getting more paint and canvases. So that's what I'm up to. How many of you, when I go looking on Tuesday, what would you most want to hear from me? Or what sort of things are you interested? If you could ask the question, what would you ask? Or is there anything that you can think of that you would like answered? Well, if it works, Jody, if I've got the right plan, God will make sure it happens. But, that's why I knew that things were not right with the mobile home thing. I could feel it. It wasn't the plan. So I had to find something. And I actually find this a little exciting, because I really do think that it will suit my lifestyle. Especially if I have now, shall we have coffee on the front deck or the side deck today? I can see myself doing that, Oh, the sun is setting. I think I'll do the living room deck. I don't know why I want. And what I like about having the 2 decks is they're enclosed, so you could have a puppy that could run around, including the decks. Now, that would get the puppy outside without my having to go and walk them. They could still get outside and, check the neighbors out and do whatever. And I know that a puppy would want to do that. But first I would move, get settled, and make sure I knew what I was dealing with. All right. A lot of thinking, people. Do you know, it was 5 o'clock this morning when I eventually said, I have to get some sleep now. Because, I'm a risk manager. So all the time I'm thinking, could I live in this space? Do I like that kitchen enough? Could I live in it? Can I see myself talking to somebody in this environment? What makes it look comfortable? And funny enough, you know what I noticed? It's funny you guys talk about this. I noticed I could live without a dining room. I could. Some of them have like a an island that you could actually pull bar stools up to, and I think most of the time I will only have one or two people in the rig with me, in which case, why wouldn't you eat at the bar stools? Or I've got my little picnic table things, nice ones. They can sit in the fancy big chairs and have a TV table. So I think I've thought most of it through. Very difficult. Right. Lordy. So it's going to be lots of research, but what I'm noticing though is that it at least is getting me thinking forward more than I was. And I realize that I'm probably closer than I was to moving out of here. Probably in another month, I'll be ready to show it, I think, if I do keep doing the work the way that I'm doing. Right, so that's it. So what I wanted to just put a warning up before I go today is we've had two very rich, very well-known people commit suicide in the last week. And that means that money wasn't what made them happy. Do you get my point? So for all that fame, for all that money, I think Kate Spade was worth multi-millions, and Anthony Bourdain, I haven't looked that up, but I'm pretty sure that he was worth a lot of money. And we know that he started off with a very troubled life, but he actually turned it around and turned it into a very successful life. But really, when you look at it, if he ended up committing suicide, was he happy? I don't think so. And yet, as I said, it was interesting. The one anchor I was listening to said what surprised her was that anytime he went offset, he said, when I come back in my next life, I want to be Anthony Bourdain. In other words, he was telling the world that he loved being who he was. So was he ill that we didn't know, right? Was, like Robin Williams is what I'm thinking. Net worth of 16 million. Thank you, Jody. I knew you'd probably go and have a look. All right. So with 16 million he still wasn't happy. Or he was sick and we don't know about it. And time will tell that. If you remember when you found out what was really going on with Robin Williams, I don't know about you, but he didn't want to put his family through that. He took that decision based on, that would be a long and lingering and very difficult death. And he didn't choose to put his family through that. And so that made more sense to me. So basically what I'm saying is if you know, and you can kid a lot of people, but you don't kid yourself, if you know that you're lonely, if you know that you're miserable, if you know that you need help, get it. Because it's no way to live. You need to look at your life and go, do I look forward to every day? And if not, why not? It means I'm not living a fulfilled life. So let me ask you, just as we close here, for you, each of you, what is it that makes you get up in the morning and go, yay, I woke up. Now then, let me go do whatever. What is it for you? Do you know? I must admit, and while you're typing, I must admit that even though it drives me insane along the way, I love doing Down December and I do it almost 24/7. Yeah, Kerry said Dora. Yeah, but Kerry, Dora's getting older. So what are you going to do if Dora passes on? How are you going to not, live your life for Dora? Makes sense. Yes, Jody, I think that an awful lot of people, that what makes them happy in their home is the person that they share it with. Yes, Savannah, but you can see why it's important to figure it out, right? What makes you happy? It's not the things. I always say to my adopted children, be it Benji or Cisco or whoever, I always say to them, I want you to remember that what makes you happy is the memories. So how many of you watched Benji and Judy, watched Benji do that big surprise for Judy at Disneyland? You see, what I taught him very early on when I first met him was, please remember when you get married that your wife and children will not remember the money. And I know that you probably want to make fortune. That's not what they will remember. Triona, I didn't know you were a Montessori teacher. That is amazing. I so love that. Yeah, so Savannah, right? So that's what I told him. I said, the children will not remember the money. What they will remember is the smallest things that took a lot of time and effort. So keep giving them surprises that show that you care. All right? Even if it takes a year to organize, do these surprises that show that you took time and effort. By the way, when I finished watching what he did in Disneyland, I sent him a note and it said, good one. Well done. Right? Because he didn't just take her and the children to Disneyland, he brought Judy's family in. He's been planning this, to my knowledge, for a couple of years because we've talked about it. Every now and then, he'll say, Sal, we need to go shopping. And that doesn't mean we need to go shopping. When Benji says, Sal, we need to go shopping, it means I need to have a discussion about something. And so I'll jump in the car with him and I go, okay, what do you need? And he's saying, well, I'm thinking about doing this, that, and the other. And what do you think? And I'm going, well, it sounds like a good idea, but it's going to take a lot of planning. And so we will have these discussions on, yeah. I mean, if you think back to your childhood, what do you remember about your childhood? It isn't about how rich you were or how poor you were, right? When you think back in the last 5 years, if I said to you, you can only take one memory or two from the last 5 years, which ones would you pick? And I bet you, yes, Savannah, right? And she's saying that my great-grandfather who raised me was the same way. He took the time to do things with me. And Chip is saying, I wake up grateful for the little things. I'm excited to experience another day and to learn and grow. You see, I think if you can live your life around working to make every day happy for you. Okay, so Kerry's saying, my mom made my troubled life worth living. She is amazing. We were never rich, but I never went without. Yes. And so I look at it, and what do I know I need to be happy? I need to be able to help people. That's what I do. I need to be able to surprise people. I'd like to do that too. I need time to throw paint at canvases. Because it actually is good for my mental health. Okay? I do this not because I love to paint. I know what it does to my mental health. I get totally absorbed. I'm not worried about how do I sell the house or how do I download or whatever. I just get totally absorbed, into that. And then every now and then this happens and you go, oh, that was worth a lot of trouble. And then I get to glaze it and I go, wow, I'm actually really proud of that. I think I would pay good money for that if I saw that. So my lesson, if you like, for today is look at your home. And if you were a stranger walking into your home, what stories would they know about you? I can always remember the first time Benji came to my home. And he said, one day I want to sit down and talk about every ornament you have got. Because I had little things in different parts of my home. And he said, when I look around, every one of them has got a story behind it. I can see that because they're not big, expensive things. And he said, I know you've got big silver candelabras and things downstairs. And he said, I know that's not what this is about. It was a little baby Buddha about this big. Where did I get that? That's what he wanted to know. He saw a little Chinese figurine. Why would I keep this little Chinese figurine? There was a story behind it. I had an African little kid's drum. I have carved wood carvings from Africa. I have soapstone carvings from Africa. And it was just like, why did I keep these things? And so what I want you to do is to actually do that and say, are the things that I'm keeping reflecting who I am, or am I keeping them because I don't want to downsize them? So Beth, a big hug and well done for downsizing a couple of big items out of your life and making some money at it, even better. I really admire you that you can do that. So people, have a super time until this evening. For those of you who will be back, I really appreciate that you're here, because whether you like it or not, you are a very rich part of my life. And I think some of you know that my life is made more colorful by you guys, complete with the bad times and the difficult times and the times that I want to hug you and the times I want to take a 2x4 and knock you over the head with it. You see, what I love about doing this is that we all grow together. Yes, Kerry, I think that is the whole thing. I'm not rich in money, but I'm rich with love, all right, in different ways. So thank you so much for being part of the journey. I hope that the coming couple of months that we will laugh a lot together. And I hope some of you will be going, wow, I wouldn't mind that one. So I am going to take this journey and take you with me. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being in my life. And I know you choose to be here every week, and I love you for it. This is DearMamaSal saying look after one another, but please remember, above all else, remember to look after yourself and make yourself happy, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Bye-bye for now.